Florida. So let's give those starting lineups to you. The starters are presented by DCHL System. DCHL System has been providing quality and compassionate health care in West Alabama for nearly 100 years. DCH is a champion for your health and proud supporters of the Crimson Tide. The starting lineup for the visiting Florida Gators, who enter today's game with an overall record of 20-3, 1-0 in SEC play, coming off the 2-0 victory over Alabama yesterday. In true road games, Florida is now 6-0 here on the season for their head coach, Tim Walton, whose lineup looks like this. Center fielder Kendra Falby will lead things off. Skylar Wallace, shortstop, bats second. Jocelyn Erickson, catching, batting third. Reagan Walsh, designated player, bats fourth. Batting fifth, the left fielder, Corby Otis. Katie Kistler, the right fielder, bats sixth. Batting seventh is the pitcher, Ava Brown. Ariel Kowalski, the third baseman, bats eighth. And batting ninth is the second baseman, Mia Williams. They'll face in the circle for Alabama, the right-handed senior from Dothan, Alabama, Jayla Torrance. Torrance on the year with a .57 ERA, a 7-1 record, 11th appearance, and 8th star of the year for Jayla. She has 2 complete games, 36 2/3 innings pitched, 16 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned, 8 walks, 46 strikeouts. Bonus batting 128 against Jayla so far here on the year. As I bring you my broadcast partner, Gray Robertson, and amazingly, Jayla Torrance has faced the Florida Gators the most out of anybody entering the weekend on this Alabama lineup, and it's like 2 innings.
It's 4,
okay.
Actually, 4 Tom. Yeah, Jayla Torrance has only thrown 30 1/3 innings pitched, and that's against SEC opponents in her career. You know, she really burst onto the scene in regionals, and this is kind of the first time we've seen an SEC team outside of Tennessee at the World Series since then. So it's going to be all about how she can handle her nerves. Will she be able to manage this potent Florida offense, especially the top of the order? Tim Walton, I think, doing the right thing, moving Erickson up right behind Skylar Wallace. 1, 2, 3 in this Florida Gators batting order is as good as anyone in the country, and Jayla's got to make a statement here early in the first inning.
And Alabama did a great job yesterday keeping the top of the order off the base pass. Kendra Falby steps in to lead things off. Left-handed center fielder. The first pitch is a called strike, and we are underway. Defensively for the Crimson Tide, Jenna Johnson is in left, Kristen White in center, Lauren Johnson in right, Dowling at third, Cahalan at short, Hevlin at second, Dukeshire at first, Valentine catching, Giles the DP with Torrance pitching. Another called strike, no balls and 2 strikes on Falby, who enters today's game with a .456 batting average, 36 of 79, 33 runs scored, 2 doubles, 2 triples, and 11 RBIs. Was 0 for 4 yesterday. The 0-2, slap foul, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Which runs her career against Alabama to now 1 for 12. What makes Kendra Falby so good? Speed for days. If she gets on, especially with the people behind her, she's probably scoring. So it was such a really impressive thing to me that Kayla Beaver was able to keep her off the base paths all day in game 1.
Another 0-2 pitch, another slap foul. Umpires for today's ball game, Cameron Ellison is behind home plate, Marty Abazishan at first, and James Colsey, the third base umpire. The first inning is presented by Barclay GMC of Tuscaloosa. For over 42 years, Barclay makes it easy online at barclaygmc.com. The 0-2 pitch is in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Alabama leads the all-time series against Florida now 45-41 after the Gators' 2-0 win yesterday. The 1-2 pitch is high, 2-2. Here at Rose Stadium, the Tide has a 16-14 advantage over the Gators. In an SEC conference game, Bama leads the series 37-27.
One of those weird series where Alabama's been better away.
2-2, fouled off. We'll do it again, 2-2.
It's not something you see very often, but Alabama has a better winning percentage in this rivalry in games in Gainesville versus here in Tuscaloosa. And, you know, we talked yesterday how it was kind of a classic Alabama-Florida game. It usually is tight, comes down to 1 base hit or 1 mistake.
2-2, again fouled off. So got quite a battle here between Torrance and Falby to start things off. Just underway, Alabama and Florida. Tide trying to even this series up at 1 game apiece. Another 2-2. Comes in too high, and the count's full, 3-2.
Boy, this feels like quite the potential tone setter, doesn't it? You know, we've seen a lot of pitches already. This is the 10th pitch of the at-bat. What a battle.
Payoff pitch. Again, slap foul. I'll be doing enough to put contact on these pitches, but can't get them in fair ground.
Yeah, if Torrance can whip a changeup in the zone, that would be helpful.
Payoff pitch. Slat foul again.
Because really, we've seen every pitch but the changeup. There was one changeup early that was well high. I think it was just a chase, 0-2, see if she goes after it. But at this point, there's not much left but the kitchen sink.
Another 3-2, another foul ball.
You know who's excited about the length of this at-bat? Our friends at ESPN, because Mississippi State Ole Miss has run over, but you know, you might not miss anything.
Torrance again looks in, another 3-2. Slapped, and that's touched in foul ground by Dowling. They threw her out at first, but that's a foul ball. We'll try it one more time. 14th pitch of the at-bat upcoming.
Which is longer, this at-bat or tonight's Oscars?
Another 3-2. That one slapped in fair ground off Dowling, and that's going to be a runner reaching to lead things off as Alabama defensively unable to make the play. We'll see how that one scored. Really hard hit ball. Dowling knocked it down, and Kinley tried to pick it up and throw it herself, but she wasn't able to corral it either, and that is going to be an E5 to start things off. Yeah,
kind of a reaching play there for Dowling, and now this is where the Florida offense gets dangerous with Falby's speed. She'll probably take off pretty soon.
Skylar Wallace steps in. The first pitch is a called strike. And Giles was up ready to throw, but she didn't go. No balls and a strike. Wallace batting .459, 28 of 61, 34 runs scored, 5 doubles, 3 triples, 6 homers, 27 runs driven in. That one's slapped or fouled away. No balls and 2 strikes on Wallace.
0 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout in game 1, and the reigning SEC Player of the Year, multi-time All-American, all-time SEC, or I should say multi-time All-SEC selection.
The 0-2, low and in, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
But if Jayla Torrance wants to win today, she's got to be able to finish off these batters. And I know that that sounds obvious, but we've now seen twice Torrance get off to 0-2 starts in these counts. Got to finish them off.
1-2. Grounded to third. Dowling has it and bobbles it and will not have a play. Dowling was thinking about going to second to try to start a double play and commits her second error of the inning.
I think she was throwing before she had the softball in her hand. You know, she saw the opportunity, but also knew Falby's speed made that error happen. Knew if she wanted to turn 2, she had to throw it quickly, and that made her rush.
Jocelyn Erickson steps in. The first pitch to her is in there for a called strike. Erickson batting .453, 29 of 64, 19 runs scored, 7 doubles, 4 homers, 34 runs driven in. Yesterday was 1 for 2 with the run scored. The 0-1, high and away, 1-1. Today's weather and field condition report brought to you by the Cook Museum of Natural Science. Discover something amazing at the Cook Museum of Natural Science in downtown Decatur, Alabama. For more information, visit cookmuseum.org. First the 1-1 pitch to Erickson. Blooper, that's going to fall for a base hit into the left. They'll throw to 3, and sliding in safely is Falby. She had to hold up in case the ball was caught, so might have been a chance to get the runner, but nothing doing. The first base hit of the game for the Gators now load the bases with nobody out in the first inning that has not gone according to plan at all for Alabama.
And I kind of thought, as the defense meets, I kind of thought Kinley Cahala misjudged that a little bit. She kind of didn't move initially, misread it off the bat, and then I think jumped a little bit too early. Had she maybe taken a couple more steps back, she might have not even needed to jump at all. And like you said, just kind of a shaky all-around first inning, and that's why I like the infield coming together right there, letting Jayla Torrance know it's all good, we've got your back. And now you just got to make sure you minimize the damage. If they score a run, that's fine, but you can't let a crooked number come up.
Reagan Walsh steps in. The first pitch is a called strike, 0-1. That Cook Museum Weather and field condition report. It's 63 degrees under sunny skies here in Tuscaloosa. The wind blowing out to right field, left to right, 10 to 15 miles an hour. The 0-1 to Reagan Walsh is low, 1-1. Walsh batting .397, 23 of 58 with 16 runs scored, 6 doubles, 6 homers, and 22 runs driven in. Yesterday was 1 for 2 with a run scored and a walk. The 1-1, fouled back, 1-2.
Had that big-time double that was aided by the wind, kind of ran away from Kristen White out in center field. Reagan Walsh, I would say, is probably the Florida batter that has improved the most from the start of her career to now. Jayla Torrance has to find a way to get her out.
1-2. Ground ball to short. They'll throw to second for 1 and turn the double play. A run comes in, but 2 big outs there on the double play turn by this Alabama defense. And with that double play, we want to remind you that in less time than an inning, you can be saving money by applying for a mortgage at AssuranceMortgage.com. Assurance Mortgage is a proud partner of the Crimson Tide.
I'm cool with the run. That's a great defensive play and a great recovery, good communication by Cahalan and Hevlin there to turn 2.
Corby Otis steps in. The first pitch to her is fouled away for strike 1.
It is also, amazingly, the first time the opposition has scored in the first inning this year against Alabama. Stats.
That's nuts.
We've played a lot of games this year, Tom. We've seen many.
The 0-1 is fouled off into the Florida bullpen. No balls and 2 strikes on Otis, who's batting .414, 24 of 58, 28 runs scored, 3 doubles, 2 triples, 4 homers, and 15 runs driven in.
And look, Torrance up 0-2 yet again. Seen that a lot here early.
The 0-2 pitch, outside, 1-2. Otis was 0 for 3 with a strikeout yesterday.
Louisville transfer, was first team All-ACC last year.
1-2 is to the backstop, and another run will score. Looked like that ball just kind of got stuck in Jayla's hand. Sailed on her. Valentine wasn't able to catch it on the fly, but slowed it down enough to where it didn't bounce off the backstop very hard. And Wallace scored. It's 2-0 Florida.
Both runs unearned as well.
2-2. Line, and that's going to get down for a base hit in right field.
All right, so she was going to score anyway. Yeah, on that pitch, I was watching the replay. I couldn't tell if it was a curve that just stuck in the hand or a rise that just kind of got away from Jayla Torrance. And that time, that pitch was elevated right over the white. Otis able to just rip it out to right. And like we said, just got to stop the bleeding at this point.
Katie Kistler steps in. The first pitch to her is a called strike. Kistler batting .410, 16 of 39, 12 runs scored, 4 doubles, a triple, a homer, and 17 runs driven in. Did not start yesterday, but it went 0 for 1 after she came in. The 0-1 is high, 1-1.
I will also add this little caveat. All things considered, if you're able to get out of this first inning with just 2 runs coming across after Florida had bases loaded, nobody out, it's not the worst result in the world.
The 1-1. It's a ground ball. Diving stop made by Hevlin at second. The throw is going to be in time to get Kistler and retire the side. A nice defensive play by Alabama in a inning where the defense really lets you down, ends it, and Alabama is out with allowing Florida to score 2 runs on 2 hits. There were 2 errors and 1 runner left on base. We played a half inning. Florida 2, Alabama coming to bat here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from their field.
Up every day. The dishes in the sink, the trash that needs taking out, the pesky check engine.
To the bottom of the first inning, Florida with a 2-0 lead over Alabama. Here is the DCH starting lineup for the Crimson Tide. The starters are presented by DCHL System. DCHL System has been providing quality and compassionate health care in West Alabama for nearly 100 years. DCH is a champion for your health and proud supporters of the Crimson Tide. Alabama entering today's game at 19-2 overall, 0-1 in SEC play. Here at the Rhodes House, they are 9-2 here in the 2024 season. Here is the starting lineup for Patrick Murphy, the head coach of the Crimson Tide. Leading off playing left field is Jenna Johnson. Lauren Johnson, the right fielder, bats second. Abby Dukeshire, the first base, bats third. Batting fourth is a designated player, Marley Childs. Bailey Dowling, the third baseman, bats fifth. Batting sixth is Callie Hevlin, the second baseman. Shortstop, Kinley Cahalan, bats seventh. Riley Valentine will catch and bat eighth, and Kristen White, the center fielder, will bat ninth. First pitch to Jenna Johnson is high for ball one. That pitch came from the right-handed freshman from Montgomery, Texas, Ava Brown. Brown on the year with a 1.03 ERA and an 8-1 record. 12th appearance and 10th start. She has 3 complete games. Called strike, 1-1. 40 2/3 innings pitched, 19 hits, 7 runs, 6 earned, 13 walks, 26 strikeouts. Opponents batting 141 against the freshman.
4.38 ERA this year against Power 5 teams for Brown.
Johnson with a ground ball to third. Stop made by Kowalewski. The throws in time, and there's one away.
You're going to see mid to low 60s, east, west, and north. Not going to work down a lot. She's got a curve and a screw, going to try and jam the hitters. And the pitch that Alabama needs to watch the most is the changeup. And it made a little noise because it's a pitch I wouldn't touch if I'm Alabama. It's not often a strike, and you just saw Jenna Johnson get fooled by the change because the location was pretty good that time, and that led to that soft grounder.
Now Lauren Johnson steps in, and she one hops it to third. Throw is in time, and there's 2 away.
Are we sure that was fair?
Defensive alignment for the Gators. Otis in left, Falby in center, Kistler in right, Kowalewski at third, as we've seen. Wallace at short, Williams at second, Gels at first, Erickson catching, Brown pitching with Walsh the DP. So 2 outs, nobody on for Abby Dukeshire. First pitch. Called strike, 0-1. The first inning is presented by Barclay GMC of Tuscaloosa. For over 42 years, Barclay makes it easy online at barclaygmc.com. 1-1 strike now on Duke, who's batting .381. 24 of 63, 9 runs scored, 4 doubles, leads the team with 5 homers and 22 runs driven in. It was 0 for 3 yesterday.
And of course, the wind is picked up left to right.
That one's fouled away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The wind definitely played a factor yesterday. Alabama had several hard hit balls that I went into the home run call and then just hit the wall of wind. That one's outside, 2-2.
If you go back and watch the TV broadcast, I did the same thing. You know, Jenna Johnson's in the bottom of the first.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, that had the look, at the sound, everything of a home run, and then kind of middle left field.
2 2s in the dirt, 3-2 now on Dukeshire.
And this is a good job by Dukeshire, kind of settling in, letting the at-bat kind of work. You know, Alabama did such a really good job of that yesterday against Rothrock, working the count and getting into these 3-2 situations.
Payoff pitch, high for ball 4. So after back-to-back ground outs, a 2-out walk by Abby Dukeshire will bring up Marley Giles as Alabama tries to answer back after Florida scored 2 in the top of the first inning. Giles batting .370, 10 of 27, 4 runs scored, 2 doubles, 4 homers, and 7 runs driven in. Marley was 0 for 1 with a walk yesterday. First pitch, misses a little inside for ball 1.
And we should note, royalty has entered. Montana Fouts, Alexis Mack, Kaylee Tao, Allie Shipman running into their seats on top of the dugout.
The 1-0 comes in, and that hits Giles. So Marley heads down to first on the hit by pitch. And Bama now with 2 out and 2 on, and something that didn't happen at all yesterday has happened already. Alabama has a runner on second base.
Hey,
yeah,
I like that, but here's the thing. Can Bailey Dowling let Ava Brown come to her? I think Florida recognizing, again, pressure moment for a freshman, has Chelsea Dobbins, the pitching coach, run out to chat with Brown. I don't want to see Dowling swing at the first pitch here. Brown has walked somebody and hit somebody. Let her make a mistake that you can pound. Alabama has not been able to take advantage of these moments the last few times out. Hitless in the Crimson Classic with runners in scoring position. In the last 6 games, 3 for 41 with runners on. And even with that, still middle of the pack in that category in the SEC. But if I'm Bailey Dowling, I have to execute the plan here. Let Brown make a mistake that you can barrel up.
So Bailey Dowling will step in now. The meeting in the circle is over. Brown looks in the first pitch. Is a called strike, 0-1. Dowling batting .275, 14 of 51, 7 runs scored, 2 doubles, a homer, and 8 runs driven in. 0 for 3 yesterday. The 0-1. Too far outside this time, 1-1.
And 3 of her 4 career hits against Florida have gone for home runs. Now, as we said, probably not the way to do it here today, especially on the pull side for a righty.
The 1-1. Dowling with a blooper that is going to be caught by Wallace. Ranging over behind third base to make that catch for out number 3 to retire the side. So Alabama gets a couple of runners on, but can't get them in here in the first, looking to answer back.
Yeah, I do like the approach, especially after the first 2 quick outs, but you know, again, it's going to be all about the adjustments that you make offensively, and now pressure back on Jayla Torrance after a shaky first inning all the way around. Alabama cannot let Florida add anything else as this game goes on.
No runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 left for the Tide in the first. We head to the second, 2-0 Florida here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. The second inning is presented by Yellowhammer Brewing Company, Alabama's finest craft brewery. Hit your stride with refreshing Yellowhammer beer, now available at stores near you. We head to the top of the second inning, 2-0 Florida. Bottom of the order due up for the Gators here. Brown, Kowalski, and Williams, 7-8-9 against Jayla Torrance in the circle for the Crimson Tide. Ava Brown, today's starting pitcher, will lead things off. Freshman righty batting .326, 15 of 46 with 10 runs scored, 2 doubles, 4 homers, and 14 runs driven in for Brown so far on the year. And she drove in both runs in Florida's 2-0 win over Alabama yesterday, a 2 RBI single in the second inning. First pitch misses inside for ball 1.
You know, that 2 RBI single kind of harkened back to me to game 1 of 2021. You know, Brown was down in the order, similar to 2021 when it was Sarah Longley who drove in the runs down in the 8 spot that night.
1-0. That's a fly ball to right, foul ground. It will hit up against the fence in foul territory in the right field corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. 200 down the lines, 220 to straightaway center field here at the Rhodes House. 6-foot wall all the way around in the outfield. And some of the fans in the new vantage point there in right field got a ball coming right at them. The 1-1 is popped up on the infield, ranging back, making the catch is Jayla Torrance for out number 1. That had a little danger written all over it. It was going right in that Bermuda Triangle between third, pitcher, and short, but Jayla ranged back to make that catch.
Well, on the foul from Brown, Jayla was trying to throw that curve and kind of left it over the white, got away with one, that time able to jam Brown properly.
Ariel Kowalski steps in, and 1 hopper to short. Stop made by Cahalan. The throws in time, and quickly there's 2 down.
And after Jayla Torrance threw so many pitches, pitch count's already at 37.
Yeah.
Really good to see a fairly efficient second inning so far.
Mia Williams steps in. The first pitch to her is high for ball 1. Williams batting 143, 5 of 35, 10 runs scored, a double, a homer, and 7 runs driven in. Over 2 yesterday.
And apparently a Florida legacy, which I did not know until today.
The 1-0 is popped up, foul ground, ranging back and making the catch in the on-deck circle in front of the Alabama dugout is Riley Valentine for out number 3, and that's a quick 1-2-3 second inning pitched by Jayla Torrance.
So Jayla Torrance, 33 pitches in the first inning, and I believe that was 6 in the second. Much better.
I like that better.
Everyone way more solid, and now, all right, we're on. Let's settle in.
1-2-3 inning for Florida in the top of the second. We move to the bottom of the second. Still 2-0 Gators here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. The second inning is presented by Yellowhammer Brewing Company, Alabama's finest craft brewery. Hit your stride with a refreshing Yellowhammer beer, now available at stores near you. We move to the bottom of the second inning. Florida with a 2-0 lead over Alabama. Due up for the Tide here in the second. Hevlin, Cahalan, and Valentine. 6-7-8 against Ava Brown in the circle for Florida. And Gray, after Florida scored 2 in the top of the first inning, the bottom of the first, Alabama got a couple of runners on, but still looking to really take advantage when they get runners on base.
And I again think the plan has got to be let Brown come to you. What can Brown do for you? Basically, the UPS plan, if you don't mind. She's going to give you mistakes. She's a freshman. Wait for those and then take advantage.
First pitch to Callie Hevlin is low for ball 1. Hevlin batting .281, 16 of 57, 7 runs scored, 3 doubles, 2 homers, 14 runs driven in. Yesterday was 0 for 2. The 1-0. Hevlin with a liner to center, and that's going to
no way
be caught.
Wow.
On a dive by Falby in center field. Off the bat, I didn't think that had a chance to be caught by Falby, but she was able to get a glove underneath it to make that catch for the first out of the inning.
I think the wind helped her just a little bit, made it tail at the very end, but that's a great jump and a great layout by one of the best outfielders in the conference. So nothing more you can do except tip your cap and move on.
So 1 out now for Kinley Cahalan. First pitch low and away for ball 1. Cahalan batting .283, 17 of 60 with 13 runs scored, a double, a homer, and 8 runs driven in.
It's a big day for Kinley Cahalan, in my opinion.
The 1-0 in the dirt, 2-0.
You know, yesterday, a fairly disappointing 0 for 3. Hasn't been hitting the ball well at all and seems to be making the same mistake over and over. She's too good to be doing that. It's all about the adjustments that she makes today. You've got to be looking for the right thing.
2-0. Called strike, 2-1. Alabama's head coach is Patrick Murphy. He's in his 26th season as the Alabama head coach. The Alabama head coaching record, 1,257 victories, 357 losses, a .779 winning percentage. The 2-1. Cahalan with a fly ball to left center, ranging over into the gap to make the catch is Falby for out number 2.
All right, so Kinley Cahalan just made the adjustment. You know, she was able to get the barrel up to something a little elevated in the zone and drive it. The problem is it stayed in the air just a hair too long again. Maybe the wind keeping it elevated, but also it doesn't have to be in the air very long for Falby to get there and make the catch.
So 2 outs, nobody on for Riley Valentine. First pitch Called strike. Caleb Rowe, the assistant coach. The pitching coach is Lance McMahon. Adam Arbor, the hitting coach. Coordinator of player development, Ryan Iyer-Murray. Director of softball operations, Jaden Spencer.
Ribs.
AC Atinka, the athletic trainer. The 0-1 outside, 1-1. Strength and conditioning coach is Michelle Diltz. Sports information director, Nathan Sheehan. Scott Moyer, the video director. Assistant video director, Lindsay Garcia. Stu Moore is the equipment manager, and the sports nutritionist is Brianna Leonard. That's in the dirt, 2-1. For Florida, their head coach is Tim Walton. He's in his 19th season as the Florida Gators head coach. Assistant coach and recruiting coordinator, Eric Thomas. Chelsea Dobbins, the pitching coach. Assistant coach, Francesca Anea, as that one misses for ball 3.
And can I talk for a minute about our friend Francesca Anea? It's so cool, the parallels between Francesca Anea and Caleb Rowe. Both back for their first year at their alma mater.
3-1's a called strike, 3-2.
Both 3-time All-Americans in college, both leaving the TV booth to come coach, and both, I've talked to both of them this week about it, both are so passionate about these jobs that they have. It's really awesome to see those kind of people coming back to coaching.
Payoff pitch to Riley Valentine, fouled back. We'll do it again, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Valentine batting 194, 7 of 36 with 11 runs scored. 2 homers and 9 runs driven in. Did not play yesterday.
This has been a really good at-bat, though, by her.
Another 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and Valentine is struck out to end this second inning.
It was a good at-bat, and then it kind of finished off poorly. You know, Patrick Murphy talked about it in the pregame interview. You got to win those full counts. Alabama did sometimes yesterday, but not always, and today, kind of the same deal. Sometimes, but not always.
No runs, no hits, no errors, no runners left. We played 2, still 2-0 Florida here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. The third inning is presented by Bojangles. Download the new Bojangles app and bring the flavor to your next softball tailgate with chicken, biscuits, and fixings, all by ordering ahead on the convenient Bojangles app. It's Bo time, y'all. We head to the top of the third, 2-0 Florida. Due up for the Gators here in the third. Top of the order, Falby, Wallace, and Erickson against Jayla Torrance in the circle for the Crimson Tide. And here to take you through the third inning, turn things over to my partner, Greg Robertson.
Thank you, Tom. You know I'm ready.
All right.
It's been a minute.
It has.
2 weeks since we last did a broadcast together.
Hope you enjoyed TV.
Well, some people didn't. Kendra Falby will step in. The first pitch is slapped right to Dowling. She bobbled and then throws it. I don't even know where that went. It'll ricochet out to Lauren Johnson at second, who will throw out to left field. And Falby slides in safely on what is probably going to be 2 errors. And the leadoff is aboard for Florida here in the top of the third. They'll give her a single and then advance to second on the throw.
Okay.
Do you walk Skylar Wallace here? First pitch from Jayla Torrance to Skylar Wallace. Misses for ball 1. First base is open. It's the top of the third. I could talk myself into either.
Yeah.
She reached on an error and scored in the first, did the Alabama transfer Wallace. And she'll take a 1-0 for a strike, 1-1.
And unfortunately, one of the things that we've talked to Patrick Murphy a lot about is, pitching and defense needs to be consistent and steady all the time.
Right. 1-1 from Jayla is fouled away, 1-2.
Hitting offense is going to ebb and flow, but you got to be strong in the circle and strong defensively. And there's 3 errors on the board here, and we're just in the second inning.
Can Torrance get a big comeback out? The 1-2 to Skylar Wallace. Oh, she pulled the string and just missed on the changeup. Her best of the day, but it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tells me this is probably going to be something hard and in. 2-2 to Wallace. Fouled away.
Alabama wearing the all crimson uniforms, the crimson jerseys with the crimson, or excuse me, the white script Bama across the chest, crimson pants and crimson socks.
Thank goodness it's not crimson Bama and crimson numbers. 2-2 from Torrance again. Oh, she did go hard and in, and it was fouled back barely. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody out here in the top of the third. Kendra Falby, one of the fastest players in America, standing on second. And last year's SEC Player of the Year at the plate. Big moment early. Another 2-2. This time, the changeup is ripped up the middle for a base hit. Falby will round third and come in to score with ease. The throw is cut off to keep Wallace at first, but it's 3-0 Florida on the RBI single from Skylar Wallace. And it looks like Patrick Murphy will make a change in the circle. That changeup was just way too hangy for somebody as good as Skylar Wallace.
Yeah. And this, in no way, this deficit in no way is all Jayla's fault, that's for sure.
Yeah. We'll take a quick break. Florida leads 3-0 here in the top of the third with a runner on first and nobody out. Pitching change for Alabama. We'll tell you who it is when we come back here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
To stay up to date with all recommended vaccinations. Flu season is here and COVID-19 continues to affect our community, so don't wait, vaccinate. Jayla Torrance gives way to the new pitcher for the Crimson Tide, making her return after a couple of weeks off with an injury. Jocelyn Brisky in for the Crimson Tide.
Good to see her back after what was, at the time, one of just the weirdest injury situations I've ever seen. But the freshman from Phoenix has returned. A 1.29 ERA on the year, a 3-0 record. This is her 4th appearance. 16 1/3 innings pitched, 14 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 4 walks, and 18 strikeouts. Maybe, including Kayla Beaver, has the highest ceiling of any pitcher on this staff, and now we'll get her first taste of SEC play. And she will come into a dicey situation. 3-0 Florida here in the top of the third with Skylar Wallace at first and nobody out. And the SEC RBI leader, Jocelyn Erickson, at the plate.
Battle of Jocelyn's.
Indeed. First pitch from Jocelyn Brisky is low for ball 1.
Jayla Torrance leaves, having gone 2 innings, giving up 4 hits, 3 runs, currently all unearned. The run that Falby scored can become earned depending on what happens the rest of this inning. No walks, no strikeouts, 47 pitches, 34 strikes thrown by Torrance.
Here's the 1-0 from Brisky to Erickson. That misses 2-0. And a little surprised we have not seen Skylar Wallace take off yet after these first 2 pitches. Yeah, Jayla was not super sharp, maybe a little tight, but at the same time, it's not 3-0 because of her. 2-0 from Brisky. got the call in the inner half, 2-1.
And as it stands right now, all 5 runs allowed by Alabama in this series have been unearned.
Yeah. We talked about points off turnovers so much of a non-conference. Alabama not winning that battle. 2-1, misses low, 3-1. And it just feels like from the first at-bat of this game, Alabama's kind of been on their heels. (3-1) from Brisky. That's low, ball 4, and Erickson will take the walk. Probably not super insane to expect Brisky to need a minute in her first action back in a few weeks. And if you're going to walk anybody, Erickson probably the one that you're okay doing that to. First pitch to Reagan Walsh. Just misses, 1-0. Reagan Walsh hit into that double play in the first. Erickson has now reached twice today on a hit and a walk. 1-0 to Walsh. There's a strike, 1-1.
Problem is, if you're Alabama, you don't got a minute.
Right.
You can't let the...
We might have 10 seconds.
Right. Can't let the deficit get much more than this.
1-1 to Walsh. Fouls that one off towards Tim Walton, 1-2. Yeah, I think Ava Brown is a better matchup for the Alabama offense. I think we've seen that already. They barreled up some things the Tide has, but at the same time, she's still very good, and anything more might be insurmountable even this early. 1-2, misses low, 2-2.
I was giving you the uniforms earlier. I never gave you Florida's. Florida white over blue. The white uniforms with gaiters and orange, blue pants, white socks.
2-2 from Brisky. Changeup misses low, full count. They've also got the reptilian pattern for the numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Like the gator skin situation. It's always super attractive. Big payoff to Reagan Walsh. Towards Cahalan. One play, and she'll make it to third to get Skylar Wallace for out number 1. Lead runner retired on a great decision and a great play by Kinley Cahalan.
Yeah, just a massive first out there. The ball was taking her toward third base, so it would have been difficult to try to turn your second double play against Reagan Walsh's many at-bats, but if you're going to get that out at third, it was actually the easiest play for her the way that she was going, so well done, though, all the way around defensively by the Tide, and now we got a meeting of everybody.
And this is where the chess match comes in. Look at Patrick Murphy right now talking to Callie Hevlin while the rest of the infield meets, and Tim Walton was chatting with, I believe that's Eric Thomas, and every hitter potentially involved, the 2 on base, Corby Otis, who's about to step in, and Katie Kistler, who's on deck. I think we'll see a pinch runner for the Gators. It'll be Bailey Goddard coming in to run for Walsh at first. Wouldn't be surprised if that's a full DP switch. So runners on first and second, 1 out, 3-0 Florida here in the top of the third. First pitch to Corby Otis is a strike. Otis singled out to right back in the first.
Alabama's upcoming schedule brought to you by Yellowhammer Brewing Company, Alabama's finest craft brewery.
0-1 from Brisky. She's not going to give you much time. That misses outside, 1-1.
Hit your stride with a refreshing Yellowhammer beer, now available at stores near you. Alabama wraps up this conference opening series against Florida tomorrow night with Monday night softball.
1-1 to Otis. That's a strike. 1-2.
First pitch set for 6 will be on the air at 5:50.
You almost have to go full auctioneer when doing a read whilst Brisky is in the circle.
Pitch clock, not an issue.
The 1-2. Low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
But excited for our first Monday night softball of the year. Got a couple of those this season.
Always a big time. All eyes on you. 2-2 from Brisky. Change up. Otis fouls it off barely to stay alive. Remains 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Earlier today, elsewhere on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, Alabama baseball with a 10-5 victory over Lipscomb to sweep the Bisons.
The 2-2 from Brisky. Got her looking. I love the call, Cameron Ellison. Strikeout for Brisky, 2 down here in the top of the third.
Get to it when you can, but thank you.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Got some river.
That was a good, nice pitch, though.
Yeah. Now here's Katie Kistler. First pitch misses low for ball 1. Kistler grounded out her first time up. 2 down, runners on first and second. Still 3-0 Florida, but trying to limit the damage here in what's unfortunately been another kind of chaotic inning. The 1-0, that's low, 2-0.
But against Lipscomb this weekend, Alabama baseball scored 30 runs in 3 games. No, excuse me, 40 runs in 3 games. I missed 10. 40 in 3 games.
How dare you?
Yes.
The 2-0. That got away from Valentine. I thought for a moment maybe Kistler got a piece, but they'll say no. And it's 3 balls and no strikes. Did she go? No. And both runners advanced after the ball got away from Valentine, so that'll be all of a sudden an even dicier situation. 3-0 to Kistler. She'll take the strike, 3-1. It is a pass ball on Valentine behind the plate. Now 2 in scoring position for Florida. 3-1 for Brisky. Kistler hits it to second. Hevlin's there. She'll throw to first to end the inning. But Florida does add a run, Tom. Alabama defensively just not sharp today, and now the offense has got to turn it up.
Yeah, that's as much as you want. You know, the defense is struggling. Pitching hasn't been perfect, but it's hard to win if you don't score. So if you're Alabama, got to find a way to get something going offensively.
Very hard indeed.
Yes.
We go to the bottom of the third. Florida 3, Alabama 0. Game 2 of this series here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. The third inning is presented by Bojangles. Download the new Bojangles app and bring the flavor to your next softball tailgate with chicken, biscuits, and fixings. I could use all of that right now. You can do it all by ordering ahead on the convenient Bojangles app. It's bow time, y'all. 3-0 Florida. Game 2 of this series. Gators won Game 1 2-0. Alabama here in the bottom of the third. We'll have 9-1-2 due up. Kristen White, Jenna Johnson, Lauren Johnson. So if you want to generate something, feels like a good part of the order to do so.
Yeah, and that's, you know, one of the reasons or one of the things you get with hitting somebody like Kristen White in the 9-hole. You know, you have a good chance of maybe having her lead off an inning. You have so much speed here in this third inning for Alabama.
First pitch to K-Dub is a beautiful bunt laid down. Kowalewski's throw is late, and Kristen White beats it out. That's how you start an inning, and Alabama's got a leadoff base hit here in the bottom of the third.
She had a similar one yesterday that Kowalewski was able to get to. This one was just a little bit softer, and she wasn't quite able to get there in time.
And Kowalewski was playing a little bit deeper than I would have because everybody else is kind of playing in. And now Tim Walton will come out and have a chat with Cameron Ellison.
Sure. Thought maybe he might ask for a review. It was a really close play at first.
Yeah.
But does not appear to be.
So back to the top of the order. Jenna Johnson grounded out her first time up. What has she learned since that first bout with Ava Brown. By the way, Kristen White just broke up the no-hitter.
She did.
First pitch to Jenna. Screwball in her half. Called for a strike, 0-1.
Yesterday was the first time that an opposing pitcher had taken a no-hitter into the 4th inning or later against Alabama this season. So it was the first time that the jinx had to be employed.
We had to use it, or you did. The 0-1 is, oh my, tomahawk foul down the left side. No balls and 2 strikes to Jenna Johnson.
I hope you found a way to use it over on TV a little bit. You know, under
a little.
Yeah.
You know,
stealthily.
Stealthily. I talked about the fact that, like, Keegan Rothrock was not particularly stupendous yesterday, but she was really good in the big moments.
Yeah.
Can Alabama be good in the big moments today? The 0-2 misses high and away to Jenna Johnson, a ball and 2 strikes.
One last thing about the baseball team, now on a 20-game home win streak at Sewell Thomas, 4th longest streak in program history.
Not bad. 1-2 from Brown, misses away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And by the way, if you're thinking, why hasn't Kristen White run yet? Because Jocelyn Erickson behind the plate has thrown out 7 of 9 base stealers this year, including Lauren Johnson in game 1. 2-2 to Jenna Johnson, skips in. Uh-oh, Kristen White caught off first, but she will dive back in safely, and it's a full count on Jenna Johnson at the plate.
Lauren Johnson was not just out. She was very out. Like, I didn't even slide out.
The hosed claws.
Right.
Payoff from Ava Brown. Johnson rips it foul down the left side. Remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. Kaylee Tao and I were talking about it. If you're 50% catching runners, that's really good.
Right.
7 of 9 is unnatural. Another payoff. And that misses high and away for ball 4. White was taking off, but now she will trot into second. And this is the best chance Alabama's had all weekend. First 2 aboard with nobody out here in the bottom of the 3rd. And now I think the question is for Patrick Murphy, do you have Lauren Johnson play a little small ball to put 2 in scoring position for Abby Dukeshire? Or you're down 3-0.
Yeah.
I mean,
she's had some of the best at-bats and has, you know, has hit the ball well all year long for you.
Looks like Florida is expecting her to lay something down.
Yeah.
Based on the infield alignment. Lauren Johnson 0 for 1 today. 400 hitter Risp. She will lay down a bunt. It's beautiful. Avery Gales will throw to first, and Lojo beat it out. That is execution. Bases loaded. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 3rd.
Or C, lay down a perfect bunt, and everyone's safe.
All of the above.
Yes. And that worked out just absolutely perfectly if you're Alabama. And here comes Tim Walton.
I would challenge this one. She beats it out, but if anything, it gives Florida a moment to settle.
Yeah. Cameron Ellison calls Marty Abazishan over. They're wearing communication devices, but they may not be working by the way they're acting.
By the way, Keegan Rothrock is warming up in the bullpen for Florida.
So we are having a replay review, and this replay review is brought to you by the University Medical Center with 6 locations in West Alabama. University Medical Center provides comprehensive health care for you and your family. Call 205-348-1770 for an appointment. As they go, oh, that's right, they don't have to go anywhere.
This is quick. Yeah, that was easy. I think that's more Tim Walton trying to give Ava Brown a chance to breathe and let the defense talk to her.
Yeah.
Because we've seen a lot of bang-bang reviews this year, not just for Alabama games.
Yeah.
That one a little bit more clear-cut.
And again, now that we're in conference play, the Birmingham office is taking care of all reviews, so the umpires didn't even have to leave the field.
And now Abby Dukeshire steps up. Bases loaded, nobody out for Duke, who walked in the 1st. Ooh, first pitch fouled away on the changeup that fooled her, 0-1. Duke on the year is 0 for 1 with the bases loaded.
So she's due, is what you're saying.
The 0-1. That's low. 1-1. Welcome back to Gray's Inning of Chaos. The 1-1. Oh, boy. Fouled it straight back. A ball and 2 strikes. Bases loaded, nobody out. It's 3-0 Florida. But the go-ahead run is at the plate here in the bottom of the 3rd.
It's Alabama's leader in both home runs and RBIs for the year, Abby Dukeshire.
And the wind has calmed. The 1-2. Dukeshire, a little slow roller. And the... Wow, Duke beat it out. A run comes in. And the second baseman, Williams, I don't think made a tag. I think everybody... No, they will say Lauren Johnson is out. Or will they?
They're going to... Yeah, Marty Abazishan called her out. I saw him make the call, but Patrick Murphy's going to ask if this is a reviewable type play too.
Well, Dukeshire beat it out.
Dukeshire definitely beat it out.
Yes, a run has scored. I apologize because that was a lot going on. Mia Williams tried to apply a tag to Lauren Johnson, who then kind of went into retreat. The tag was there, but because of the chase, it gave Dukeshire time to beat it out. No, they'll say Johnson was not tagged.
Oh, all right.
Bases loaded still, nobody out. And a run in for the Tide as they finally answer. 3-1 Gators.
Really smart base running by the freshman Lauren Johnson not to run into the tag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Williams did apply the tag, but she was holding the ball in her bare hand. So she tagged her with the glove,
wow,
not holding the ball. So that is why she is safe. Because she was, ball was out of the glove, holding it with her bare hand.
You know what? I'm going to give a lot of credit. First off, that's a very strange angle for Marty Abazishan to see that. Right. I love that James Colsey and Cameron Ellison said, here's what happened. They made the decision, and now Chelsea Dobbins out chatting with Ava Brown on what is scored an RBI fielder's choice that leaves the bases loaded with nobody out for Marley Giles.
She chose poorly.
Boy, we are so back. Gray's Inning of Chaos. Like, hello.
There's still nobody out there.
Unbelievably. Marley Giles was hit by a pitch in the 1st. Bama base runners on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Wind has picked up left to right. First pitch, low, ball 1. And also, this is where the limited pitching staff for Florida comes into play. You know, if you had another arm, you might be bringing in Rothrock right now. 1-0 to Giles. That's a chopper back to the circle. Brown will throw home, and the foot of Erickson was on the plate to get the force of Jenna Johnson for out number 1. The throw was wide, but Jocelyn Erickson kept a toe on. 1 down. Or did she? I don't know. Yeah, she did.
Yep.
It's a very athletic play by Jocelyn Erickson. And frankly, Ava Brown. That was a weird angle for the throw that she had to rush, too. So 1 down, bases loaded for Bailey Dowling. Just want something normal. First pitch, change up, and their first strike, 0-1. We've seen 2 base hits on bunts, an RBI fielder's choice that was unsuccessful, and now a fielder's choice with a force at the plate. Dowling, the 0-1, fouled towards the Florida bullpen, 0-2. Lauren Johnson at 3rd, Dukeshire on 2nd, Giles at 1st. Base hit might tie this ball game up. The 0-2 misses high and away, a ball and 2 strikes. So sorry. I feel like I did not describe much of this well at all. Oh, wow. The 1-2 just misses. 2-2.
Just need one big hit.
Yep. Wind has settled slightly. 2-2. Change up. Almost buckled the knees, but it missed. Full count. Bailey Dowling this year 0 for 2 with the bases loaded. Payoff from Brown. Dowling fouls it off to stay alive. And this is probably the most exuberant the Alabama crowd has been all weekend so far.
Yeah.
Another payoff from Brown. Dowling, slow dribbler to short. Wallace has one play. She'll fire to first, but a run will score, and the other runners advance. It's 3-2 Florida here in the bottom of the third. And you know what? It's an out, but it's something Alabama has not done in the losses this year. It's been a productive out. And now you've got 2 in scoring position for Callie Hevlin.
Yeah, it wasn't hit hard enough for Wallace to think about trying to go 2. She only play was going to first.
First pitch to Hevlin rolls in on the off speed for ball 1. Callie Hevlin flew out her first time up. The 1-0. There's a strike. 1-1. Interesting to see Brown utilize the off speed way more in this inning. And now here comes Patrick Murphy, who will call timeout. I think he had to make sure he still had one after the way this inning has gone.
Right.
And now he'll chat with Callie Hevlin.
You mentioned the crowd. Like, we had the huge crowd yesterday, but the way that the game went, the crowd kind of was taken out of it from the beginning. And there was never anything that really happened to get them back into it.
Really until the 7th.
Right.
And even then, that was kind of short-lived. But they're here now. 1-1 with 2 outs to Callie Hevlin. Misses low and away. 2 balls and a strike. 3-2 Florida. Runners on second and third.
Now Brown's pitch count already up over 50.
2-1 from Ava Brown. Changeup misses. 3-1. And by the way, on deck is Kinley Cahalan for what could be a season-turning moment if she gets that chance. For her. 3-1. Big cut on what might have been ball 4. Full count, 3-2. I think this is going to be a changeup. Payoff. Hevlin rips that out to right. That's got some carry. Kistler will track it down and make the catch on the warning track for out number 3. Alabama could have had a little bit more, but they got something. 2 runs in the bottom of the third, and now it's a 1-run ball game.
Yeah, you have answered back. You've made this more of a game already, and now, like you said, you've got the crowd into it. The team is into it. Now Jocelyn Brisket has an opportunity, a quick inning, and you can get your offense back out there.
And we will go to the 4th. Florida 3, Alabama 2, here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. The fourth inning is presented by Nukes. At Nukes, your food is always made to order in an open kitchen with the freshest ingredients. Visit them locally on University Boulevard or order online at nukes.com. Nukes is a proud supporter of Alabama softball. And a quick shout out to Bojangles, the third inning sponsor. We might need to work in some kind of inning of chaos thing because it's 3-2 Florida going to the fourth. Each team scored in that frame. Florida got 1 run. Alabama responded with 2. And now as Patrick Murphy chats with our friends Mark Neely and Michelle Smith, it truly is a brand new ball game, and on Jocelyn Brisky to make sure the Gators don't respond like they have so often this year.
Yeah, Brisky came in last inning and went an inning. No hits, no runs, 1 walk and 1 strikeout, and 22 pitches and 10 strikes thrown. She replaced Jayla Torrance, who finished up with 2 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 1 earned, no walks and no strikeouts, 47 pitches, 34 strikes thrown by Jayla. And, you know, Brisky, we kind of had her pegged along with Beaver as the number 2 maybe in this staff entering the season. Had the muscle injury, missed a couple of weeks. Now back here today, and she can really establish herself in that spot if she has a good rest of this game.
And we'll see if that can happen. Maybe some normalcy as well. I don't know. I turn it back to my partner, Tom Canterbury.
Thanks so much, Gray. Well done.
Look, I'm just here to stir the pot.
Right.
As all of you know.
Florida, 3 runs on 4 hits, no errors, 3 left. Alabama, 2 runs on 2 hits, 3 errors, and 4 runners left on base. Pitcher against pitcher here as Ava Brown steps in to lead things off. The first pitch is high for ball 1. Brown's 0 for 1. She popped out her first time up. And the freshman from Montgomery, Texas, part of a amazing recruiting class for Tim Walton. As that one misses, 2 balls and no strikes. One of the highest rated, if not the highest rated in the country, depending on what service you're looking at, with her and Keegan Rothrock coming in. The 2-0, called strike, 2-1. Called strike, 2-2. Wind continuing to blow left to right, out to right field. Sun now covering about half of the field as it sets to our left. Brown crushes this one to deep left field, and that's a solo shot for Ava Brown, and Florida now leads at 4-2. Well, no amount of wind was going to stop that one. That was absolutely crushed out to left. Brown now with her 3rd RBI of the weekend. She had both the RBIs for the Gators yesterday. And Florida now leads at 4-2.
Yeah, Brisky trying to get in on the hands. It just doesn't run in enough, and Brown able to turn that one all the way around and hit a tank.
First pitch to Ariel Kowalewski is in there for a strike. Kowalewski 0 for 1. She grounded out her first time up.
We talked about the response stat. Florida is so good at that this year.
Called strike 0-2.
Now 7 of 11. You know, and doesn't matter how much it is, just that you find an answer, and now momentum back with the Gators.
The 0-2 pitch. Grounded foul down the 3rd baseline. We'll do it again. No balls and 2 strikes. Kowalewski, also another one of those freshmen. She's from Richmond, Texas. The 0-2 is a slow roller to second. Hevlin has it. Underhand toss in time. Let's get Kowalewski for out number 1.
Yeah, you got to make sure after that Brown home run that you handle 8 and 9 in this order. Let Falby come up with 2 outs. So far, the top of the order has just been a menace for the Alabama pitching and defense.
Mia Williams steps in. The first pitch fouled off at the plate for strike 1. Williams 0 for 1. She fouled out her first time up. Another freshman. Fouled away. No balls and 2 strikes.
We talked about how this was going to be a new look Florida team on the Out of the Box podcast. You know, first time ever in league history, 0 innings pitched returning.
The 0-2 high chopper foul. Down third baseline, 0-2.
You know, you had Wallace and Falby at the top, but you lost Charlotte Eccles, who had been such a staple, specifically behind Skylar Wallace in that lineup. Brought in someone who's filled in pretty well in Jocelyn Erickson.
The 0-2. Check swing. She didn't go. It's too low. 1-2.
But in an era where the portal is so rampant, Florida still is relying a lot on this big freshman class this year in the circle and certainly at the plate.
1-2 pitch. Off speed low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Speaking of the Out of the Box podcast, Greg.
Who?
It's time for a scoreboard update brought to you by the Out of the Box podcast. First a 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. No. Got a piece of it. Williams stays alive. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Check out the latest episode of the Out of the Box podcast wherever you get your podcasts. No pod coming up this week due to scheduling and travel. Last week we had 2, including an Out of the Box off topic. The 2-2 pitch. Fouled off. Where Gray gave his informed picks and I gave my very ill-informed picks for tonight's Oscars.
Yes, which started 11 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
And in Gray's final thought, I will give out some Gray Academy Awards for this game.
I see what you did.
Stay tuned for that.
The 2-2. Why wouldn't you? It's outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So give us a follow at _pod on the X. Also, there won't be a new episode this week of It Just Means More Softball, presented by Softball America. Payoff pitch, 3-2, fouled off. But this past week, we talked with Caleb Beaver, the number 3 overall national pitcher, according to Softball America's rankings. So check that out if you haven't heard that one.
And we'll also have a Twitter space tomorrow.
Yes. Another 3-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. That time, Williams didn't get a piece and sits down for out number 2. And that tied strikeout, like all tied strikeouts, brought to you by Barclay GMC of Tuscaloosa. For over 42 years, Barclay makes it easy online at barclaygmc.com.
Good rise ball that had some back-end movement from Brisky right there.
Kendra Falby fouls the first pitch off for strike 1. Falby is 1 for 2. Rishon Aaron scored in the first. Singleton scored in the third. The 0-1. Falby bunts and misses that one, 0-2. But again, It Just Means More Softball comes up every Monday night at 6 Central on YouTube, usually, except for this week, because we'll be here. The 0-2 is low, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Like, subscribe, share, and share all that stuff.
Okay.
So, scoreboard.
Yeah, what happened? Who? Let's see. After this pitch.
The 1-2. A little bit low, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
So sweeps are rampant right now in the SEC to open up.
What is going on?
I don't know. LSU beat Kentucky today in Lexington 8-3 to secure a sweep on the road and stay unbeaten.
2-2. Falby swings and misses for strike 3, and after giving up the leadoff homer, Brisky sits down the rest of the Gators, 1-2-3.
We'll get to the rest of the scores in a bit. Right now I want to talk about the response from Brisky, not just getting a clean inning after the home run, but doing so in a way that kind of got the momentum back on your side with those strikeouts. Back to you, Bama offense.
For the Gators here in the 4th, 1 run on 1 hit. There were no errors and no runners left on base. We move to the home half of the 4th inning, 4-2 Florida here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. The inning is presented by Nukes. At Nukes, your food is always made to order, an open kitchen with the freshest ingredients. Visit them locally on University Boulevard or order online at nukes.com. Nukes is a proud supporter of Alabama softball. We head to the home half of the fourth inning. Florida with a 4-2 lead over Alabama. Due up for the Tide here in the fourth. Bottom of the order, Cahalan, Valentine, and White against Ava Brown in the circle for Florida. Brown has gone 3 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout. She's thrown 56 pitches and 30 strikes so far. Alabama really started to get to her there in the third inning, scoring a couple runs, and if you're the Tide, you just want to keep things going offensively after Florida scored a run there in the top of the fourth.
Yeah, and you've been able to kind of play the game. You know, Brown 2 walks. She's also hit someone. I love the fact that you've been able to leg out some bunts, and now you got to find a way to square something up, because still 1 for 6 with runners on and runners in scoring position today. It could have been an even bigger third inning, but you're glad you got anything at all. Now you've got to find a response after Florida answered back at the top half of this frame.
Well, we're waiting for Tim Walton to finish up his interview with ESPN, an opportunity to take a look at Alabama softball on this date, and then we'll get more of those scores that we were talking about last inning. Alabama on this date, it is March 10th, by the way, Greg.
Thank you.
Yes, March 10th. Alabama 16-1 all-time on this date, outscoring opponents 131-34. Kinley Cahalan now steps in, and here comes the first pitch from Brown in the dirt for ball 1. Back in 2018, Alexis Osorio struck out 21 Fordham batters.
Wow.
Tying an NCAA record for strikeouts in a game in a 7-2 Alabama victory. The 1-0, called strike, 1-1. The Tide's only loss on this date came last year when Bama lost 5-3 to Texas in Austin in the Bevo Classic.
Boy, you remember that trip? It's a long drive.
Oh my gosh. The 1-1, low, 2 balls and 1 strike. There was one really great game during that weekend.
And then we were calling another one 4 hours later.
That one didn't go as well. The 2-1 pitch is outside, 3-1 on Cahalan.
Good at bat here. I love it.
0 for 1 with a fly out. Although that fly out seemed different than the other fly outs from yesterday.
It was her best hit ball, I would say, in her last 4 games.
3-1. Cahalan with a fly ball to center. Falvey's there. She makes the catch for out number 1. Another well-hit ball, but unfortunately right at Falvey, and there's 1 away.
Dang, you got, again, I mean, it's a 3-1. You get the pitch you want, just a little elevated. Got to drive that just a little bit more if you're Kinley. But again, I think today, like night and day from yesterday.
Riley Valentine up. First pitch to her. She pulls back the bunt. It's outside for ball 1. Valentine's 0 for 1. She struck out her first time up. So back to the Out of the Box podcast scoreboard update, Greg.
Yeah, Georgia held off future Alabama opponent Jacksonville State 8-6 in Athens.
1-0. Called strike, 1-1. Yes, if you did not hear the scheduling update this week, the Jacksonville State game has been rescheduled. We're going back up to Jacksonville State, weather permitting, on April 2nd.
We hope it doesn't rain.
The 1-1 hits the outside corner, 1-2.
Auburn staved off a sweep against Missouri, a Maddie Pinta shutout. 4-0, the Tigers of Auburn defeat the Tigers of Missouri.
The 1-2 pitch, fouled off as Valentine spoils it foul to stay alive, 1-2.
Arkansas beat Northern Iowa 9-0. Tennessee shut out Ohio State 11-0. And Texas A&M swept South Carolina 2-1.
1-2. Valentine swings and misses at strike 3.
She's going to keep rolling along. Georgia shut out Furman 7-0. And right before this game on SEC Network, Ole Miss walked off Mississippi State to stave off a sweep there in a bonkers 10-9 game.
Jeez.
Rebels win after last night being no hit by Aspen Wesley.
So now 2 outs, nobody on. Kristen White steps in. 1 for 1 on the day, singled and scored last inning. First pitch. Misses outside for ball 1.
Nationally, a couple things. Texas beat Houston today 8-6 to win that series 2-1. I don't have a ton of concerns about Texas. I think this was a great statement by Houston.
White slaps that one foul, 1-1.
And also, Oklahoma State scores 2 runs in the top of the 7th to beat Baylor 3-2 and win that series 2-1.
The 1-1 pitch. White fouls that one off on a bunt. Went straight down, hit off her, I think, her right foot. Seems like she's all right, though, 1-2. And Alabama's next opponent, Florida State, had quite the weekend in Fort Myers.
Yeah, today they beat Florida Gulf Coast 13-6, but it has not been easy for the Noles here a month into the season.
The 1-2. Misses outside, 2-2. Yeah, they lost to Florida Gulf Coast. They were down 6-1 to Purdue, came back and won that one, and were down 3-0 to Florida Gulf Coast, came back and won that one today. The 2-2. White slaps at the third, off of 2 people's gloves, and safe is Kristen White. If Skylar had caught that one, I would have just left. I would have put down the headset.
She might be
left
the
it
only
to you and Ethan, and I'm out.
She might be the only human being in the world that I half expected to make that catch. So it's off the glove of Kowalewski at third, ricocheted right into the breadbasket of Skylar Wallace. It actually hit the glove of Wallace. Like, that was a catchable situation, but it took her by surprise, and now White's aboard with 2 outs.
Jenna Johnson to the plate now. First pitch. Fouled off on the hit and run, 0-1. Johnson's 0 for 1 with a walk, or excuse me, with a walk and a ground out on the day. So a good day so far for Kristen White, 2 for 2 with a couple of singles.
Really good to see that. She'd kind of been struggling putting the ball in play the last few outings, but much better here today.
The 0-1. Called strike, 0-2.
And all the more impressive because entering the weekend, only 8 times had a left-handed hitter had a hit off of Florida pitching this season. So 2 for White against Brown here today.
The 0-2. Johnson went too far around on a check swing for strike 3, and unfortunately after the 2-out hit by White, Johnson's down on 3 straight strikes, and that'll do it for the Tide here in the 4th.
Yeah, that's not the response that you wanted to see, especially after K-Dub was able to reach. But again, Alabama continues to put pressure on Ava Brown. Now you just have to make sure that the Gators don't add anything else offensively.
For the Tide here in the 4th, no runs on 1 hit. There were no errors and 1 runner left on base. We played 4-2 Florida here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. We head to the top of the 5th inning, Florida with a 4-2 lead over Alabama. We might need a University Medical Center replay review of taco hot sauce. That was the most photoist of finishes I've ever seen in the taco hot sauce race. No, it's not a popularity contest. Who won the race?
Yeah,
Joy Grace, come on.
Who got there first? Taco had the lead the whole time, and then like about 2/3 of the way through, slowed up for a second. Wasn't sure what was going on.
And hot sauce came. I think hot sauce won.
I think taco won because I picked taco.
I picked
Who'd
hot
you
sauce.
pick?
Yeah. Yes, right, yes. The 5th inning is presented by Yellowhammer Brewing Company, Alabama's finest craft brewery. Hit your stride with a refreshing Yellowhammer beer, now available at stores near you. Skylar Wallace leading things off for the Gators here. They lead at 4-2 as we head to the top of the 5th inning. The first pitch from Jocelyn Brisky is high and tight for ball 1. Wallace 1 for 2, reached on air and scored in the first. RBI single in the third. The 1-0. Called strike, 1-1.
And by the way, currently happening on the SEC Network broadcast, the People's Queen is in the booth. Montana Fouts with Mark Neely and Michelle Smith.
The 1-1. Drops in a little bit low, 2-1.
I talked to Montana yesterday, and I said, are you going to be here for Alumni Weekend? She said, probably. And I said, well, we like to bring alums in for the third inning on the radio. Would you like to join us?
The 2-1. Called strike, 2-2.
And she said maybe.
Oh,
because she was like, I don't know if my analysis, if the world is ready to hear what I have to say when I see something happen.
Oh, we're ready. The 2-2 to Wallace. Low and inside, 3-2. And again, from what we heard yesterday, if Montana comes up here, Allie Shipman will have to come up here.
Of course.
Because they're, you know, well, where one goes, the other one goes.
Allie, the consigliere.
Payoff pitch to Wallace. Slapped foul at the plate. We'll do it again. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
By the way, I want to add a little bit to the Out of the Box podcast scoreboard update. SEC Women's Basketball Championship game. South Carolina beats LSU 79-72 to stay undefeated, but a lot happened.
Another 3-2 to Wallace. That's going to get down for a base hit into center field. White cuts it off, but Wallace legs it out for a stand-up double to start things off here in the 5th inning.
That's now 2 hits that Wallace has had on off-speed pitches. And that's all about barrel control and recognition. That was not a poorly located changeup. It was a little low and in, but Wallace just able to get the barrel there and get in scoring position.
Jocelyn Erickson steps in. The first pitch is a called strike on the Oklahoma transfer.
And just a nugget, Tom, Alabama, or I beg your pardon, Florida has gotten the leadoff aboard now 4 of 5 times. The one time they didn't was the second where they did not score.
The 0-1 is high, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And that was a trend that happened yesterday. Florida got the leadoff runner on 1 time, and that was in the second when the Gators scored.
And all 3 of the previous runners that reached base lead off an inning all scored themselves.
Right.
The 1-1, low, 2-1.
So anyway, back to South Carolina LSU. I think all anybody's talking about was the fight at the end.
Right. Well, you have family members running out on the court.
Yeah.
The 2-1. This is outside, 3-1. Yeah, that was chippy from the beginning.
It always has been, I feel like, the last few years.
Angel Reese had a intentional foul in the first half. The 3-1. Erickson lines this one. That's going to be down for a base hit in the left field. Wallace will round third. Here comes the throw. It is not in time. Wallace scores. Erickson takes second, and Florida now leads at 5-2.
This is an inning that just showcased every skill that we have known Skylar Wallace has had since her career started here at Alabama. The barrel control, the pitch recognition, and that time just pure speed. I mean, Tim Walton, 95% of runners in this country, the coach over at third base is waving the stop sign, but Tim Walton center, and it was a great slide to slide in safely.
Bailey Goddard getting her first at-bat here. The first pitch is high and away for ball 1. Yeah, even on the double to start things off of the inning for Wallace, that's not a double for everyone.
Right.
And she was there safely without even a slide. Patrick Murphy comes out to talk with Brisky in the entire Alabama infield. Erickson was credited with the RBI single, advancing to second on the throw home. Wallace scores. It's 5-2 Florida.
While we have a moment, I did want to comment on just the ludicrous ending of South Carolina and Tennessee at the SEC tournament yesterday.
Yeah.
Camila Cardoso hadn't shot a 3 in 3 years, had never made one in her collegiate career, knocked one down at the buzzer, called bank to stay undefeated. Absurd.
The 1-0 to Goddard. And that one's popped up on the infield, right-hand side. Dukeshire calls everyone off. She makes the catch for out number 1.
Boy, you love that. An unproductive out with a runner on second and nobody out. That was extremely necessary. It would have been not great if the runner had been able to advance to third on that.
Corby Otis steps in. The first pitch misses a little bit low for ball 1. Otis is 1 for 2, singled in the first, struck out in the third.
Now fielder number 33, Corby Otis.
The 1-0. Called strike. Checked her swing. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And for Tennessee women's basketball fans, you found a new way. I mean, that was as devastating a way to lose I've ever seen.
That one just a bit outside, 2-1. It was a rough day overall for Tennessee yesterday. The women lost the way they did. The men, having clinched the SEC, lose on senior day to Kentucky, pushing Alabama to the 3 seed. That one's high, 3-1. Can't rely on Tennessee to do anything for you. I've always said.
Yes, you have, actually.
That's actually something I have said before. The 3-1 is low for ball 4. Otis draws the walk, and now Florida has runners on first and second with 1 out here in the 5th.
Right fielder number 29, Katie Kistler.
Katie Kistler now steps in. She's over 2 with a couple of ground outs. First pitch. Called strike. Both Alex Salter and Ailey Johnson warming up in the Alabama bullpen. The 0-1 bounces away from Ballantyne. And now both Gators on the base paths in scoring position on the wild pitch. The 1-1. Ooh, called strike. 1-2 down on Kistler.
Boy, Brisky missed her spot on that changeup. That was supposed to be outside, but curled back in.
1-2. It's a ground ball to second. Hevlin will throw home, and that was a poor decision. The ball gets away. Both runners come in to score. And Florida now leads at 7-2.
And it's the little things. You know, that'll be another error on Alabama. But it comes after a wild pitch that let the runners move up to second and third. If that wild pitch doesn't happen, that's a double play ball potentially for the Alabama defense, and certainly an easier decision for Hevlin to go to first.
Ava Brown now steps in. 7-2 Florida. First pitch misses for ball 1. Brown 1 for 2 with a solo homer and a pop out. The 1-0 is high. 2 balls and no strikes.
Fortunately, this has kind of been one of those everything that will go wrong games for Alabama. Those happen sometimes.
The 2-0. Called strike, 2-1.
The part that stinks is that it's coming for Alabama after the way yesterday went.
The 2-1 fouled off, 2-2. So scoring on that last play, Kistler does get 1 RBI, reaching on the fielder's choice, and then the throwing out error allows the second run to come in to score. 2-2, fouled off. We'll do it again, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And now I feel like I need to apologize to Montana Fouts, who's having to do this interview during this half inning, knowing the competitor that she is. This is absolutely killing her right now, watching how this has gone.
That's a liner through for a base hit into center from Ava Brown. Another RBI for the freshman as Kistler comes in to score, and it's now 8-2 Florida.
Another base hit for Florida on the changeup. Brisky's control with it has been a little erratic. That time it just stayed too elevated, and I think Patrick Murphy probably feels like he has to make a pitching change here.
Yep, another pitching change upcoming for Alabama. The Gators have scored 4 so far here in the 5th inning. There's just the 1 out. We'll tell you about the new Alabama pitcher after this. 8-2 Florida here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. With 1 out and a runner on first here in the 5th inning, it's 8-2 Florida, and the new pitcher for Alabama coming into the game for the Crimson Tide is the redshirt junior from Fort Myers, Florida, the righty Alex Salter.
Salt with an ERA of 0 this year. This is her 4th appearance. 3 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. Opponents hitting .200 against Salt, who has faced Florida before.
Ariel Kowalewski steps in, takes the first pitch for strike 1.
And Salter is 2nd on the team behind Caleb Beaver in most innings ever against SEC teams, a .211 career ERA against conference foes.
The 0-1. That's a ground ball to second. Knocked down by Hevlin, and she throws it wild. Might have a chance at 3, but no, the throw is late there, and Florida now has runners on 2nd and 3rd as Alabama's, I believe, just committed their 5th error of the ball game in the 2nd of the inning.
I really don't know what's going on. I truly don't.
Yeah.
You know, even you pointed out had a chance at 3, absolutely had a chance at second base, and Valentine did not look there. That was another kind of little mental miscue. You've got 5 errors, but there have been way more overall mistakes in this game. That's frankly, this has come out of nowhere.
Cassie McClellan will bat now.
I think they gave Hevlin 2 errors on that play.
First pitch misses for ball 1. They did, yeah.
Wow.
Because, yep, I think that's the right call. 1-0 to McClellan. Fly ball well hit deep to left on the run, and making a diving catch is Jenna Johnson, but tagging up and coming in to score is Ava Brown, and it's now 9-2 Florida.
And by the way, the run rule potential run standing at 3rd. So, got to get this out.
First pitch to Kendra Falby is a strike.
Boy, the Gray Academy Awards at the end of the broadcast are really going to have a dour note at this point, aren't they?
1 ball, 1 strike now on Falby. Kowalewski moved to 3rd on the sac fly RBI. And that's going to get through for a base hit into left field as Falby goes opposite way.
Wow.
And it's now 10-2 Florida.
You know, earlier I referenced the similarities between Game 1 of a 2021 series and the one we saw yesterday. Now this is feeling like Game 2.
Called strike on Skylar Wallace. Wallace earlier in the inning doubled and scored. She's 2 for 3 on the day. Wallace hammers this one to center, and that's going to get down for a base hit up against the wall. Wallace will stand up at 2nd. Coming in to score is Falby, and RBI double by Wallace makes it now 11-2.
That Game 2 back in 2021, Florida won 9-2. It was actually a relatively tight game until a big inning for the Florida Gators. 5 runs in the 6th. Busted it open. Fortunately, feels like same bat time, same bat channel here in 2024.
Jocelyn Erickson steps in. The first pitch is low and away for ball 1. Erickson 2 for 2 with a couple of singles and an RBI and a run scored.
Yes.
And here comes Lance McMahon to talk with Alex Salter. So the book is now closed on Jocelyn Brisky. Brisky 2 1/3, 4 hits, 6 runs, 4 earned.
I'm looking, and if the media guide online is correct, which sometimes it doesn't include some of the games from the early days, the 6 errors is now tied with 5 other games, none since 2002, for the most in a game in Alabama program history. And again, out of nowhere, frankly. I mean, the defense has not been perfect this year, but this I was not expecting to see ever.
The 1-0 to Erickson. Outside, 2-0. So now Florida 7 runs in the inning. Overall, 11 runs on 10 hits. No errors, 3 left. Alabama 2 runs on 3 hits, 6 errors, 5 runners left on base. The 2-0 pitch. High, 3-0. Called strike, 3-1.
Seems like me and TV producer Bree Falcon are just same brain right now. They just flashed the errors graphic. April 7, 2002. So last time there was 6. That was against LSU.
The 3-1. Called strike, 3-2.
2 of the 6 against Arkansas randomly. Once against LSU, once against Auburn, once against Kansas, because sure. And now tonight.
Payoff pitch. One hopper to short. Cahalan makes a stop in the throw for out number 3 to thankfully end the inning and retire the side. Florida here in this inning, 7 runs on 5 hits, 3 errors, and 1 runner left on base.
Also, that's the first time an opponent has scored in the 5th inning this year against Alabama. And boy, Florida did. Now you got to put up 2 runs in the home half to keep me from going to watch the Oscars.
Yep. Alabama now in run rule territory. They'll have to score a couple to at least keep the game going here in the bottom of the 5th inning on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning, the last chance for Alabama. They got to score a couple of runs to keep the game going. It is 11-2 Florida. 2 up for the Tide here in the 5th. Johnson, Dukeshire, and Giles 2-3-4 against Ava Brown in the circle for Florida. The 5th inning is presented by Yellowhammer Brewing Company, Alabama's finest craft brewery. Hit your stride with refreshing Yellowhammer beer, now available at stores near you. Is there one of those around here right now?
I want to see fight. I want to see fight in this inning. Like, you're going to lose this game. But can you get past the 5th? Show a little fight here.
First pitch to Lauren Johnson is a ground ball to second. Williams has it, makes a throw, and there's one away.
That's actually a pretty good adjustment by Florida. So Mia Williams, yesterday was playing a little closer to the bag against Johnson. That's how she was able to get that base hit out to right. That time closer to first. It was basically the same spot as Lojo's hit in game 1, but sadly this time Florida had a defender ready.
First pitch to Abby Dukeshire is outside for ball 1. Dukeshire's 0 for 1. Walked in the first, had an RBI fielder's choice in the 3rd. Swing and miss, 1-1.
Am I banned from doing the pregame interview?
I don't know. I mean,
it's tough.
Jeez.
It's a tough beat.
Dukeshire takes that one low, 2 balls and 1 strike. The 2-1 pitch. In the dirt, 3-1 now on Dukeshire. You go back to that 3rd inning, Alabama really was able to put a lot of pressure on Brown. Got 2 runs across at the time as that one misses for ball 4, and Dukeshire draws the walk. Pulled Alabama with 1, within 1, but then Alabama stranded a couple runners in scoring position in what could have been a bigger inning, ended up only scoring 2.
Well, and even going into the 5th, down 4-2, that wasn't out of
right.
reach. Like, you were still in the game. And then I don't know what happened. I'm not sure.
Kinley Pate comes in to run at first, and Marley Giles to the plate. Giles 0 for 1, hit by a pitch in the first, and reached on a fielder's choice in the 3rd.
Interesting to see the way Otis is playing her in left.
First pitch is low for ball 1. I think I said it during that inning, that 3rd inning. Alabama really needed just one more big hit.
Yeah.
Because you got a couple of base hits, but they were both infield hits. You manufactured a couple of runs, but you needed that base clearing double by somebody, and just wasn't able to get one across.
And what's going to define the rest of this hectic week, these next 10 days, but also, frankly, the rest of the season is what goes on in that clubhouse once this game ends. What made 2021 so special was because after Florida won that 9-2 game, the team had a heart-to-heart, and Patrick Murphy challenged everybody, and everybody got on the same page.
Called strike on Giles, 1-1.
That was the day where Patrick Murphy said, don't lose again, and Alabama did not up until OKC. I think the winning streak finished at 23, somewhere around there.
The 1-1 pitch. Giles with a, swing down the 3rd base line. The stop made by Kowalewski. The throw is in time for out number 2. Pate moves to second, but now Alabama down to their final out. And both offensively and defensively for Alabama, just too much indecision today.
Yeah.
And that's kind of shown by that swing as well. It's Bailey Dowling to the plate, 0 for 2 with an RBI. First pitch, called strike.
Although I do think the at-bats, again, overall looked better than yesterday, and they're making Brown have to work.
Dowling chops this one foul. Balls and 2 strikes. Alabama's down to their final strike.
That was her 85th pitch, and we're in the 5th inning. Alabama's made Ava Brown have to work, but you're right. They missed not only the timely hit, but the big one.
Yeah. The 0-2. Outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The 1-2. Dowling with a fly ball to right, and that's going to stay up and get caught by Kistler for out number 3. And that will do it. Your final score in 5 innings, Florida 11, Alabama 2 for the Tide here in the 5th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. With the win, Florida improves to 21-3 overall, 2-0 in SEC play. Alabama falls to 19-3, 0-2 in the conference. The winning pitcher is Ava Brown. She's now 9-1 on the year. Jayla Torrance take the loss. She's now 7-2 for the campaign. We'll take a timeout, come back with the Fast Signs of Tuscaloosa post-game report as Alabama drops the 2nd game of this series to Florida in run rule fashion by a final score of 11-2 here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.